Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog. I just want to take couple minutes, talk to you about one of my favorite subjects in sales, prospecting. You know, it's a lost art. So many people today do not generate their own business. If you're going to be a super success in today's business, you're going to have to learn to generate your own customers. Now, with social media and all the avenues we have to multiply ourselves and get so many additional people involved in our personal network, it's amazing to me that more salespeople do not prospect for new customers. Now, I wasn't a world record-setting salesman, but I was one of the best you've ever seen. And I got to tell you, I was only beaten one time in all the time I was selling, and that was by a salesman named Don Gilder. I was off my game. In 1 month, the guy beat me. But for the most part, I was a spectacular salesman. I never had to look over my shoulder for number two because I generated a lot of my business from out there. Now, I want to share with you the most powerful prospecting techniques you've ever learned. 3 questions. There are 3 questions I can ask a complete stranger, and if I ask 10 complete strangers these 3 questions, I will sell a car. Well, the first thing you have to realize is everybody out there that's driving a car is one day closer to the day they absolutely have to get another one. You're swimming in a sea of prospects. They're all around you. You know, where do you find prospects? Try the interstate at 5 o'clock. They're out there bumper to bumper. But you know, most people think of the showroom and the telephone as their only avenue to get prospects. I'm going to tell you what, your dealership, the place where you work, I can walk out the door at 8 o'clock in the morning, provided these 3 things are present. It's not a Sunday, it's not a holiday, and the weather is good. If the weather is good, and it's not a Sunday, and it's not a holiday, I will sell a car to a complete stranger that I met in your community before the sun sets. I don't care where it is. I can do that with any make, model of automobile, new or used. I can sell a car before the sun sets. Leave the dealership 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll take your witness with me. And you know what's so good about that? I can do it. So can you. There are 3 questions I ask a complete stranger. Question number 1. When are you going to buy your next car? Now, don't think that's too simplistic. When are you going to buy your next car? I have sold hundreds of cars with that question. When? Not would you like to buy a car? You thinking about buying a car? No, when are you going to buy your next car? That question is absolutely the most powerful question. It's just a couple words. I sold a car to a lady standing in a supermarket line. All I did was turn to her and I was talking to her. We're waiting for checkout. And I was reading something on National Enquirer, one of those magazines in the rack. I said, that's ridiculous. She said, yeah. I said, let me ask you, when are you going to buy your next car? And she said, I've been looking for a car. I got more war stories than you've got time to listen to about times that question turned into a deal. Now, there's 2 dealers in Louisiana, Kent Richards and Bobby Giles. Bobby Giles has dealerships in Lafayette, Louisiana. Kent Richards has dealerships in Baton Rouge. I did a seminar in Baton Rouge. Now, this has been more than a decade ago, but anyway, we're sitting at lunch at the Holiday Inn. The waitress, I don't know, I'm going to just call her Mary. She was a 50-ish-year-old person. And she's a nice person. She's waiting on us at lunch. And I said to her, Mary, when are you going to buy your next car? And she said to me, I just totaled my car and my insurance adjuster has asked me to pick out something. Now, I turned to her and I said, you are in luck. These are 2 of the biggest dealers in the state. Would you rather have a Nissan or a Honda? This is Mr. Richards, who owns the Honda dealership. This is Mr. Giles, who owns the Nissan dealership. She said, I really think I'd rather have a Honda. We made an appointment with her then and there, and yes, we delivered the car. How do you know we delivered the car? Well, you can call up Kent Richards in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Richards Honda, and ask him. But the truth of the matter is, I don't tell a story that didn't result in delivery. I've got those stories, but I don't tell them. I mean, of course I blank out sometimes. If I tell you a story, it's going to be about a delivery. Just understand that. I mean, I'm not going to tell you about the times I struck out. Make no sense. Okay, so when are you going to buy your next car? I was with Kent Bozarth out in Denver, Colorado. Waiter at a restaurant again. When are you going to buy your next car? I'm looking for one. And we got a conversation. He had down payment. What I'm trying to point out to you is you are swimming in a sea of ups. There are people in your space that pass you are looking to buy a car right now. You just don't hook up with them. When I was dating my wife, I had not yet been promoted to manager. I was a salesperson at Banner Ford in Decatur, Georgia. And I was the top salesperson. And my wife and I were dating. She used to hate it. We'd go to the movie theater. And I'd buying the ticket, I'd say, "Hi, I'd like 2 tickets to Godfather 5. Yes, ma'am. When are you going to buy your next car?" When are you going to buy your next? The little guy tearing tickets. When are you going to buy your next car? I routinely ask everybody I met, when are you going to buy your next car? And if they say they're in the market for a car, they're thinking about it, I'm going to stop and get their information right now. That's the second mistake most salespeople make. You don't lock in the appointment. Here's my business card. Call me. I'm not doing anything. My time isn't valuable. No. You give them your business card, they're never going to call you. Dumbass, what are you thinking? Here's my business card. No. How can I get in touch with you? I never ask people their name, address, and all that. How can I get in touch with you? Words you say or your toolbox. I don't say, what's your address, what's your phone number? How can I get in touch with you? And I'm writing it down. Phone number is 358-1818. Is that home or work? That's home. Work? That became a question. Work? Email? Because I'm going to send you a confirmation of this appointment. Now, we work by appointment at Friendly Chevrolet. Get that in your vocabulary. We work by appointment. I'm available at this time or this time. Which is better for you? We work by appointment. Get that in your vocabulary. My time is valuable. If you're running late, you will call, won't you? Great. I'll return the favor. I got all their information, and I will send them a confirmation email of that appointment. So think appointment, think your time is valuable. Don't give them a business card. Gather their information. Very important that we do this. So I can lock that appointment in. And a lot of people don't do that. And by the way, when you're not prospecting on the telephone, do the same thing. We work by appointment. Get that in your vocabulary. When are you going to buy your next car? Now the second question, equally powerful. Who do you know? Now that's not as immediate. Who do you know? Do you have a friend, a relative, a coworker, somebody that you go to church with? Who do you know that's in the market for a car? Who do you know that's talking about buying a car? Everybody might know somebody. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten a referral. And when I get a referral, I'm bold enough to say, would you mind calling them for me and telling them I'm going to contact them? Yeah. Don't just call that person out of the blue on a cold call and say, John Smith told me to call you. No, I want John Smith to give me a warm introduction. I'm bold enough to ask for that. And you'd be amazed how many times people will do that. So I want to prospect, who do you know? I was in Staten Island, New York. Dana Ford Mercury. Jim Cognetta is a dealer. I sold 3 cars in 2 days to people that worked at the hotel I was staying at. Sold and delivered 3 cars in 2 days. Those questions. I sold the desk clerk a car. when are you going to buy your next car? I'd love to have one. I said, if we can get it into your budget, will you do it right now? Yeah, great. I work right across the street over there, Dana Ford Lincoln. So anyway, I asked him the second question. Who do you know? Do you know anybody else that's looking for a car? Yeah, there's several people that work here that need them. 3 cars to people that worked at the hotel. I mean, that was within 2 days. And Mr. Cognetto was laughing about that. And I sell a lot of cars today to people in restaurants and hotels. And not because that's the only place I prospect, but since I'm visiting these dealerships and consulting, that's usually where I am when I'm not working, hotel or in a restaurant. So there's very few restaurants I can't sell a car in. If you can put the credit together, you can sell a car in a restaurant any day of the week. Always ask your server, when are you going to buy your next car? Who else in this restaurant needs a car? Those 2 questions are absolutely imperative. This is a long time ago. This is probably 15 years or more ago. Jeff Enright, Cameron Rieger. Now, this was Westway Ford in Dallas, which has since been sold to Van Tile. But when Westway Ford was owned by Joe Teig, I was their sole consultant. The first time I came to Dallas, to Westway Ford, Jeff Enright and Cameron Rieger picked me up at the airport, DFW. They took me to a restaurant that I still to this day love this restaurant, Papa Do's. They took me to Papa Do's Cajun Seafood Restaurant. I'd never been before. It was phenomenal. I love Papa Do's. So they took me to Papa Do's. Now the waiter was a Cambodian guy. His name was Tron. I remember to this day. And I said, Tron, when are you going to buy your next car? He said, oh, you must be a car salesman. We joked, right? Yeah, of course I am.